Hello fellas, if you're seeing this, then you're a prospective new member of the Dynasty League being created, a league that is yet unnamed. So I'm going to put together this video to kind of explain what a Dynasty is, how it works, how we're going to score, and then possibly run out some options on cash. So I'll just start with Dynasty. You know, most of you are familiar with a one-year redraft league where every year it blows up, you start from scratch. You've probably heard of a keeper league where you keep 1, 2, 4, 5 guys. This is a keeper league on steroids. You're going to keep almost your entire roster from year to year. So there's a lot more skill involved than dumb luck. So keep that in mind when you're drafting, that barring trades or drops, this is pretty much your team going forward. Let's see. People, one of the big problems people have with Dynasty is that they think it's going to be really intensive to stay on top of one. But like I just explained, the fact that you're keeping your roster from year to year actually means there's less work in a Dynasty. You can put in as much work as you want, making trades, making moves, or you can kind of set it up and put it on autopilot. It really depends on how you want to run it. And another bonus is you've probably got a big keeper league or a redraft league with a lot of cash running on it. This doesn't interfere with those leagues. Those leagues like to draft as late in August as possible to have player value set because the one-year value of a guy makes or breaks everything. This works different. We're going to draft probably in June every year, and as soon as we get everybody signed in, we'll set up a draft, and well, I'll explain kind of how that will work. We'll probably do 20-man rosters. That sounds ridiculously big, but you want to leave room for guys that you don't need to start right away. A guy like I had Michael Floyd on my bench for a couple of years in my other Dynasty, waiting for the year he can actually step in and help me. Guy, like some of these younger rookies that aren't projected to be starting right away. Like you could draft a Le'Veon Bell a couple of years ago, you can plug him right in, but there's a lot of these young dudes that aren't in a situation where they're going to instantly start. So you want it deep enough where you can hang on to a guy and still field a solid starting team. So that's what we'll do, and then every year in June, Yahoo should give us the option. You'll have to select your keepers, which for this league will be all but 3. We'll cut 3 guys, then we'll do an online Yahoo draft of just 3 rounds. So like I said, it's considerably less energy spending on doing all this stuff than like the homework for a one-year league. And that's the other great thing, is once you know this many players, you're 20 man deep times 12 teams, probably 40 or 50 people more than are ever conceivably going to be drafted in even a 14-man league. So once you kind of have this stuff down, you actually need to do less homework. You can jump into almost any draft for any league and just by sheer osmosis know who you want, what you're after, and where the values are. The only difference is you have to find out the scoring of that league, and you could jump right in. Which leads me to our scoring. I'm kind of OCD about scoring. I freely admit it, but that's one of those things I have to have like a tight clutch on, because I'll get like a tick. It's got to be balanced. So that's kind of what I call my balanced scoring. It's not touchdown heavy. It's not full PPR. What it is it goes by standards. 300 yards is the standard of a good game for a quarterback. 100 rushing or receiving is for backs and wides. So that's all even. 10 yards for a point for backs and wides. 30 yards for a point for quarterback. That means a 300-yard game or 100-yard games for those guys are all worth 10 points. Then bonuses, we give a 1-point bonus for hitting those plateaus, and then they go up 50 yards. So 350 or 150 gets you 2 more bonus points, and then once you get to 400 passing or 200 rushing or receiving, you get 3 more bonus points, which means a 400-yard game, or let's say a 200-yard rushing day. That's 20 points for the yardage, and then 6-point total bonus. Touchdown is a straight touchdown. I don't do splitting it between quarterbacks and wides. I don't do 4 for quarterback. Manning gets touchdowns on the stat sheet. They don't give him a half one for each one he throws, so I score it that way. Defense, we also have a half point for reception. And, you know, that's the thing. If you can hang on to a ball, it's worth something. Not a full point. 6 catches isn't worth a touchdown in my mind. 12 catches starts getting there. So that's where my balance comes in. Fumbles, I usually say -1 point for a fumble, so it's a wasted play, and -2 more if it's recovered by the defense, for a total loss of 3 on a fumble. Same thing, interceptions. I usually have them set at -3. That kind of helps balance out the quarterback touchdown scoring. I also give 0.2 for a completion and -0.2 for an incompletion. Sounds ridiculous, but the long and short of it is, if your quarterback's completing 50% of his passes, he gets no bonus. And you'll get 0.2 for every completion over 50%. So if a guy comes out and he's throwing 40 times, well, great, you know, good for him. But he shouldn't just be racking up points for completions. There's got to be a negative for all those attempts. So this breaks it down to percentage. So like I said, anything over 50% completions is a bonus. Anything under 50%, you're going to go negative. So that's that. Defense, I usually try to balance that with 3 for a fumble recovery, 3 for the interception, 1 point for a sack. I usually say 5 for a safety, 5 for a block kick, 10 points for a shutout. But I get a little more punitive with my defensive points allowed. You get to 35 points allowed from your D. That's going to be a -10. So under my scoring, defenses have potential to have big days. I've had a defense in the last season, score me well over 30. But I've also seen a lot of teams under the same scoring have defenses go negative. So that's what I want, that balance. There's potential for a big game, but if you lay an egg, you're going to feel it. And another bonus, no kickers. That shit's just random as it gets. A buddy of mine pointed out years ago that you take who's the #1 kicker one year and look at the next season, it's not him. They don't repeat. There's no skill in it. It is the quintessential definition of blind luck. Getting a kicker with good conditions, catching the wind, kicking a bunch, a team that gets into the red zone but doesn't score. That I don't mind losing a tight game because somebody's quarterback or wide went nuts on me, but if I lose a close game because somebody's shitty kicker they got off the free agent wire, who's playing on a decent, not even a decent team, that can't punch it into the end zone and has to sit there and put up threes all day, I'm not losing to that. That's bullshit. I don't want to lose to somebody because there's a crappy kicker on an inferior team that's just raining in threes. All right, so we're getting rid of it. Let's see, have I covered injured reserve? I said you're keeping your whole roster. You have a big gun get hurt, he goes to IR. You might want to move him there. We'll probably put 3 spots in for that, so you don't have to cut anybody big. Quickly through payouts. Just throw in a completely theoretical, let's say we all put in 25 bucks, 12 teams, that's $300. Payout would go something like $225 to first, $50 to second, and $25 for third. Doing a league like this where you don't all meet together makes handling money a pain in the ass. It's something I don't like. It's my least favorite thing about running fantasy football. I'm a purity of the game kind of guy. So what I've come up with is essentially the honor system. So we're not going to all pay in at the beginning of the year. What we'll do is we'll wait until first, second, and third are determined. Third place then will just not have to do anything because their season's covered. Second place will not have to pay out, and then I will notify one team in the league to send them a check for $25. That covers the 50. First place, they'd keep their 25 for the pay-in, and then I would instruct the rest of the teams in the league to then send payment to first place. Sounds a little convoluted, but now it's not hounding people down, collecting money, putting it in a pool, hanging onto it, then redistributing it later. This is just one clean shot at the end. I give you somebody's name and address, you mail them a check. Done deal. Of course, if somebody doesn't pay, we're going to have to be dicks about it. Say, you got to get them paid up right away. I mean, I'm not going to go and start laying out penalties and being punitive and shit like that just yet. But let's just say it'll be mob rule if somebody decides they're going to be a dick and not pay. So I'd like to close as quickly as I can saying this stuff isn't set in stone. Exactly. You know, if we want to tweak, you know, maybe paying division winners, maybe doing some other stuff, we want to do that. There's still plenty of time to look into that. If this sounds good, then we'll get you on board. If this sounds like it's not for you, still plenty of time to bail. I appreciate advance notice either way, if you're in or if you're out. I said plenty of time to replace somebody. If you do feel like bailing, no worries. I realize this isn't for everybody. I do still have redraft leagues that I'll be putting together, so I'll need guys for that too. So, trying to wrap this up as quick as I can. That is the entire league in a nutshell. That'll give you something to digest. And until the season rolls around, let's get some football going, fellas.